Hi guys, this is Jacqui Cooper from JCooperTravels, and today I am really excited to have Jerry here. He's a financial advisor from Baird and out of Cleveland, and he has been in this field for many years. He's done a variety of business and consulting, and he knows the value of financial advice and why we need to be thinking about this. No matter what your age or what your profession, we all go into a job thinking, okay, we are going to have a certain amount of income, and then we down the road have to kind of assess where are we. Jerry, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to learn more about what you do and also some of the takeaways as to how to be successful within a financial plan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jackie. I'm very happy to be a guest on your program, and I've enjoyed your other podcasts, so it's nice I get to be a part of this now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So why is it important for someone to be thinking about using a financial advisor or even creating a plan of action? Why would someone need to do that? And also, at what age do you have to even think about that?
That's such a great question, Jackie. So it really, the age question, it really helps anybody. So when you think about investing and trying to navigate these tricky markets, it really makes it much, much easier if you have a plan in place. So even if you're very young and you're just starting out and maybe you have a 401k at work or you're funding an IRA or some type of retirement account like that, it helps to know what the goal is for that money. Why are you doing that account? What's the purpose? Because really that'll translate into the type of investment you'll want to use in that account. And then at the other end of the spectrum, if you're somebody older, getting close to retirement, maybe even recently retired, you definitely want to have a plan in place because you need to know what your investments have to generate. They have to now replace your paycheck. So it's very important to know what the goals are for the money that you have. And that's what we do through financial planning, is really help clients focus and achieve those goals.
So what happens if you haven't planned and you're at a certain phase of life? Is it too late, or should someone reach out to you? I mean, a lot of times we think, well, I didn't do it, so what difference does it make? What are your thoughts?
Well, that is so important. Number one, it's the best time to start planning is today. So it doesn't matter if you feel like you've missed too much time. I always get asked that question. A lot of times clients will come to me and it's almost like a confession almost. They want to know how they're doing. How do I compare to your other clients or other folks that are my peers? And I try to tell everybody not to worry about that. Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses or what other people have done or feeling like you're behind. The best thing you can do is just starting today, make the best decisions possible. So, you have to be realistic with what your goals are and your time frame and what you can accomplish. But the idea is whatever you can do, that's the best thing to do.
So in terms of like either the products or the process, when someone comes to you, is the consultation initially free, or how does all that work?
That is how it works. So, before we start, and I work with individuals, that's my specialization. I like working with people. I feel very fulfilled doing that type of work. And as you were saying at the beginning, I have been doing this for quite a while now. It's my 27th year. So boy, time has flown. But the idea is when you first meet somebody, they have to, number one, decide if they want to work with me, like if I'm the type of advisor that they're looking for. And then I also have to be able to determine if I can really be of help. And so that's why that first meeting is very important, is I try to learn as much about them as I can. And I try to give them as much information about what we do as possible. So at the end of that first meeting, I'll have a general idea of what they're looking to accomplish. And hopefully they have a good idea at that point if I might be the right person to help them. So absolutely, the first meeting is, I like to refer to it as the get to know you meeting. And we never charge for that.
So I know that for anyone who's listening on the podcast right now, or even watching the YouTube part of this, there's a block of information in both that will have the contact information, so you'll be able to reach out to Jerry. Now, if so that way, if you're driving and listening, you don't have to worry about that. It is physically there. Do you just help people in your own area, or are you able to help anyone anywhere in the States? How does that work?
So I have always had clients throughout the country, and a lot of that has been because, we're here in Cleveland. Many people like to retire to other areas that might be a little warmer. So we have clients that relocate to Florida or the Carolinas or California, Arizona, Texas. So we always have had clients throughout the country. But that's been the one thing that this environment we're in now is really it's one of the things that's become clear is because of technology like this, like we're, video conferencing, it's now even easier to work with clients wherever they are and wherever I'm at. We can share documents back and forth. We can see each other, not in person, but as close as you can get. So absolutely, we can work with clients all over, and we are licensed in almost every state. So we do have a securities license, and I'm licensed to pretty much do business with folks anywhere, which is great.
So when someone is thinking about using someone like yourself, what sort of documents or what things should they gather for that first meeting or even the follow-up meeting to make it easier for you to kind of really provide the best guidance possible?
I sometimes think of myself almost as a financial detective because in terms of organization, clients are all over the map. I mean, we meet some clients that are super well organized, and they'll sort of have that question down, meaning they'll come with a binder of all their information, all their statements, their life insurance policies, their benefits at work. I mean, they will really have everything together. Then I have other clients that basically just, sometimes they just bring me unopened envelopes. They say, here's all the mail I got this last month from all my financial services companies. And basically, we're opening those letters together. But the idea is, as much as you can really provide us, we'll figure it out. I don't put a lot of pressure on folks to bring the exact right things. I just pretty much tell them that if it affects your financial life and it's important to you, I suggest bringing that, and let's take a look at it together. It makes things a lot easier. The more information, the better. If it turns out we don't need something, that's fine. But it's easier to go that direction than to need something and not have it.
So I know that you've been involved with a lot of causes and organizations that are close to your heart. And I know that part of it is, it might have started, for the networking part, but I know that you've gotten involved because, again, their mission and their vision resonates with you and, your own personal life goals. One of the organizations that I'm familiar with, because I used to be a member, is the Rotary.
Right.
For those that might not be familiar with the Rotary, do you want to share more about what it does and how someone actually can become involved? Because the Rotary is international. So no matter where you are, you can find a club.
That's right. Especially you're such a travel expert. It truly is. Rotary is everywhere. It's international. There's 1.2 million members throughout the country, which is just incredible. But it's really a service organization. So, like-minded folks, and it really does have a business flavor to it. So, you join your local Rotary Club. Pretty much every city throughout the world has their own Rotary Club. I belong to the Rotary Club of Cleveland, Ohio. So we are local business people here in Cleveland, and it's broader than that. We have nonprofit folks, we have retired folks, we have other people that are just interested in community involvement that join. So you come together and you certainly do projects that are going to benefit your local community and then globally. So the projects really run the spectrum of different things you can be working on. And it's easy to find things that you're interested in. And you may like one project a little more than the others, but there's lots to choose from. And like you mentioned, so there is the networking part of it. You're doing this type of work side by side with other people that you'll develop a rapport with, and it's good for everybody.
Yep, it is. How large is your club?
Our club is about 100 members.
Wow.
And, yeah, and I appreciate that. So in today's world, people are getting even more spread out. So if you think about Cleveland, that's the city, but we're surrounded by lots of suburbs, and every suburb has their own club. So it's not like I said, refer to the old days, 50 years ago or whatever it was, when people pretty much all came downtown to work. So you would all join the downtown Rotary Club. Now, especially in this environment, so many people are spread out, working in different communities, that there's lots of strong Rotary clubs all around.
Do you do virtual? Sorry to interrupt. Do you do virtual meetings, or now obviously with COVID, but when I was familiar with the Rotary, they did have some electronic meetings, but now how is it being handled?
So that is, again, thinking about this environment that we're in, that has been a big change. So yeah, we back in March went totally virtual. So all of our meetings have actually been on Zoom, and the attendance has actually been very good. It actually has been very encouraging that people still log on. And that's one thing. Pretty much every Rotary Club is similar. You have that meeting, either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. People do it at different times, but there's always a guest speaker. So there's always somebody interesting that to present a topic. And so we're having those speakers over Zoom, and then we have a little bit of networking time but with each other. And we still have service projects going on, different than what we were doing, but they're still happening, which is good.
What about scholarships or other ways that you can help young people? I seem to remember that there were things like that as well.
That's absolutely right, Jackie. So there are, that is one of the big programs that we're involved with on the local level. So we do give high school seniors scholarships to go to college, and we partner with a local organization to do that. We actually have our own local foundation here, the Rotary Club of Cleveland Foundation. And then there's also the larger Rotary, the international organization that we're all part of, which has the Rotary Foundation. And they also fund a lot of programs through that. So, if you're looking for scholarships, I would absolutely search on Rotary scholarships and, see what comes up both in your local area and then globally that you might qualify for.
That's great. I want to just remind everyone to subscribe to the podcast, and also to check the blog on the podcast as well as on the YouTube, because there'll be contact information for Jerry, both about his business and about the Rotary, so that way you can also connect there. Also, this is a two-part podcast, so definitely click the next part of it, because we're going to be talking about the travels that Jerry has done and his bucket list of where he wants to go. So definitely, Jerry, thank you for the first part of this podcast, and I look forward to talking to you shortly about your travels.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jackie.